Hello? 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 Oh no, that's an old one. Let me just check. Hello? Hello? Yeah, it's okay. If anyone's aware of why there would be a chipmunk voice effect, please let me know. I don't know. I've tried to Google it, but I couldn't find any, good answers as to why that's happening. So please, if you know why that is, then please let me know. But it's fine again now. So. Oh, I haven't shared it. Let me just share the link. So hi, welcome to the weekly Thursday evening broadcast. I'm very pleased to be broadcasting this evening. Thank you for joining. So if you would like to ask any questions or interact, then you have to first of all friend me on Skype, and my Skype address is Rebekah Maroon. So first of all do that, and then you can message me and you can ask to call in. So yeah, and I do this YouTube stream every Thursday at 9:30 currently because of the whole lockdown stuff, and I do a Zoom as well, a Zoom meeting once a month as well. But if you look at rebekahmaroon.com, you can see all the information about when I do what on there. What are they doing? I said try and be quiet, I'm doing some work, and they went and like the banging and all sorts. Let me just So yes. So let's deliver us talk. It's so funny. I couldn't think of a title. Nothing was coming, so I just that just came last minute. Like yeah, I don't know. Like it's like an opening or a feeling around for what it is to speak, what wants to be spoken, and sometimes it's not anything like anything, and sometimes there's a little flicker of something, and then it takes a while for it to like grow and it becomes clearer what it is but it's not always like that. It's so wonderful. So the title is Your Only Refuge. No, your only retreat. That's it. Your only retreat. Yes, or your only refuge. Either one, really. I'm not too sure that was the title. I just put that. I couldn't quite feel the language, so I'm not sure what will come out, if it will match that. I'm sure it will in some way end up being that, but I'm not sure. So I'm not sure what to talk about. So we're always looking for something. We're always on edge, looking for something, looking for something. We're not even sure what it is, but there's always this anticipation for something, wanting something. This restlessness, like wanting something. And it starts when we're really young, actually. Our children have it, this restlessness, this agitation with being. And this isn't a criticism. It isn't saying that that is bad and you're wrong for having that or feeling that. It's just describing the way it seems to happen, the way humans seem to be. And I'm sure because of the modern way of living, the long hours we work, the losing our simplicity, like you would normally take on your parents' job. So as a female, you'd work at home with your mum. As a male, you'd go out doing the job your father had. It was very easy and very simple. Now we have so much choice, so much possibilities, which is great on one hand, but on the other hand, it's a lot of pressure and a lot more agitation, a lot more choice, a lot more things to think about and worry about and imagine and try to control, and all the choices of the television programs and the phone and all these things going on around us. So I feel it's increased a lot more, so much more pressure. And that contributes to this agitation, to this restlessness, to this I've got to get something, I've got to get somewhere, I've got to be something. And so in a way you could say the idea of waking up is something offered or spoken about as a possibility for the person. So you hear about enlightenment or spirituality, waking up, and it's intriguing to the person, another thing to work towards and be interested in and be focused upon. It kind of has to appear like that, as another thing that you could possibly have. And so initially it's very exciting, the idea of waking up, of this spiritual path or this spiritual inquiry. lots of highs and pleasure and excitement. And then after a while it gets heavier and maybe depression appears, frustration appears, confusion appears. Again, all the choices appear. So the mind thinks that this interest, let's call it, this interest is something for it. So it's going to work it out and arrive as an awakened person, or it's going to achieve something. You finally get success or love or popularity or whatever it imagines. But like seeking for anything, it soon becomes heavy, and it doesn't deliver on the promise, the imagined promise. And then maybe the question arises of, what am I looking for? Why was I even interested in this spiritual path or this subject? What is being longed for? and it becomes a real practical question. And all that I can really speak of is a suggestion, or I can speak of what it feels like here, or what the experience is here, or what the story is here. So the suggestion is that what is longed for is the end of seeking, the end of seeking. And you could say it in many ways, actually. It could also say what is longed for is home, which is the same as saying rest, the end of seeking, just home. The end of suffering, the end of that contraction that's trying to arrive somewhere, that's trying to find something. And the suggestion here is that you are that. You are that. What you are is that, is the end of seeking. What you are is the end of suffering. So what do I mean by you are that? Like, who is this you I'm referring to? So we've been conditioned, or it's just happened, really, this development of a story, this development of ideas of who you are, this development of a character. These ideas of that make up you, these experiences, these qualities, these ways of being that make up this seeming character. And it begins to feel like this story of someone, this description of someone, begins to feel like a real someone here. Like it begins to feel like it's put on. This character becomes put on as if it's someone here experiencing. So it isn't just a story or a character in the head as a thought. It becomes like a real experience of someone. That character is me. I'm here as a limitation. I end here. So that isn't what I'm referring to in saying you are that freedom. That isn't someone, that isn't a real person. That isn't true. I'm not denying the character or the story of someone. That's a part of human functioning, the story of someone, the description of someone. But that as a reality isn't true. That isn't someone in that. It just feels like that. And that is why there is suffering. It's energetic beliefs, energetic putting on of this character, identification as a character, as a person. So in saying that you are the end of freedom, the end of freedom, the end of suffering, or the end of seeking, you are that. I'm referring to who you really are, not that character, not that make-believe story in time. So then what's being spoken about is a returning to that, which sounds really bizarre, but it's a returning to that, as in a loss of identification with the character or with the person. It's a loss of that dream. It doesn't mean the character doesn't still function and is part of the experience. It is an experience, but it's no longer this energy that's identified with the character. There's no longer, and therefore there's no longer that seeking, which has all been about the character or the person trying to find love, trying to find home. And so you are that. You are that. The seeking and the dreaming is only for that illusion, only for that dream. That isn't the reality. That isn't who you are. And so your only refuge or your only retreat is what you are. It can't be in experience. It can't be in objects, in forms. You can only be what you are. Okay, so maybe I turn on Skype and hi, Emerson. Hi, I can call. Yeah, you can call.
Hello.
Hi.
Is how it sounds?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Yes. Okay. I want to say tonight about two things.
Yeah.
The one, sorry, is dark.
Yeah.
Maybe now. Is still good sound?
Yeah. I can see and hear you.
Oh. because you said today about this is the end. Yes, you said this is the end.
I don't know. This is the end. The end of what?
Sorry, but I don't hear you so much.
Oh, hello. Let me check my
Okay, I think it's good.
Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah, I think it's a good word.
Oh, no.
That's the end of suffering, end of story, etc. But I want to say I like more other word. And how do you feel about this word? That is actually never ending. I mean, in this never ending flow can be so many endings.
Yeah.
Suffering begins, ending. You forgot who you are, but next you remember, and next you forget. So is it never ending? Never ending. It's also very good word for this, yeah.
Yeah. I like never ending as well. Yeah. I like ending and also never ending. Yes. Empty and full. Yeah. Because there's always it can't be the end of life. Life doesn't end or begin. There's no end to it. There's always going to be growth and change and movement and story, and always there can't not be that. I'm not sure what I was saying before, but the ending maybe I was referring to is an end to being lost in the dream, an end to you being someone, you being a thing, an object, a form.
Yeah, but isn't it a temporary ending, actually?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Okay. And I want to say about second thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I listen to some films about non-duality, and some things don't resonate with me. I mean, sometimes is the word like the real you is the all universe or something like that. That you are all universe. The true you are all universe.
Yeah.
And I want to say I don't feel it because I think I'm the wave on the ocean. So I'm not the ocean actually. Or if I want to say what it's real me, the real me it's the background. There's nothing maybe more. I don't know. I want to ask you, what do you think about the sentence that you are all the universe?
I think it's a beautiful pointing. Yeah, it's a beautiful pointing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that right now, so I don't know. But if I heard that, in a film or something, you are the universe. How beautiful! I've no issue with it. I have no issue with it. I see it as pointing that out, that you aren't limited. You aren't a character. You aren't something limited and small. I see it like that. We believe we are someone, a limitation, and to point out you aren't that, it's quite a beautiful thing. But it's not true, it's not true, it's not true. You aren't that. You aren't a form appearing. You aren't a thought or an emotion or a belief or a story. It's beautiful.
Yes, I feel maybe something similar, because maybe it's about that there is potential for to be anyone in everyone. Some yes, no limits inside us. Everyone can, I don't know.
Well, there seems to be limits. So there seems to be things that you physically can do and can't do. There's a limitation. So there's a limitation to this body, to this character. It's limited to its conditioning, but that's not who I am. So that's not it's only relative to the character, to the human experience. There's limitation in that. But yeah, it's not ultimately true. Just the experience is, you could say, limited. So while this chair is appearing as chair, it's limited to a chair. It can't be cup and chair, it's chair. So there seems to be limitation in form. But yeah, it's not the truth of things.
It's dark here.
It's okay.
Wait
I can see you.
Wow. Yeah. Light. I am not limited to the darkness. Yeah, so that was what's coming.
Yeah.
Last time I listened to you and me on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I hear that I often say I don't know.
Oh. Now you say it. Yeah, I've heard you say that before. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I say that as well. I don't know, so it's fine.
Yeah, maybe because of you. Yeah. Yeah, but maybe because it's the truth. What do we know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's my question for today.
Oh, thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, some kind of process. Maybe it's your own streams.
Yeah.
Every time is some question. Maybe after this so many questions, life can be more easy.
Yeah. Yeah. But okay. I really what's the word? I love, I just say love. I love how you I can hear myself now. There's an echo.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say I love how you are open to asking the questions. Like you're open to letting them come out, and you're not, suppressing them or trying to be right or know the answer. You're just open to expressing whatever comes up. So I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks. Okay, Lucas.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like. It's some kind of pleasure, just.
Yeah.
And so in some days it's some kind of rescue, maybe. maybe.
Not sure. Okay, so thank you, Lucas, for calling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Have a good 7 days.
Yeah. Bye. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, hi, Rebecca. I feel a bit confused, intrigued by what you are or who you truly are. I feel that can't be known. Can you say more about that? A bit confused, intrigued by what you are or who you truly are. I feel that can't be known. Say more. Yeah. Yeah, it can't be known. It can't be known, as in, it can't be known by the mind. So thought can't know who it is. It can't say, oh, I'm that. I now know, I can see it, I know it. So you're right, it can't be known. It can't be known. But it can be known, but not by the intellect. It sounds really confusing, you're right, because we're so used to knowing being a mental thing. So I know this, I know that, as language, as words, as mental ideas. But this is a knowing beyond knowing. It isn't an intellectual knowing at all. It's a being what you are, because it is. So it's known by it being. It is without a question. Yeah, it's just a really mind-boggling to the mind. It's mind-boggling. And we as society, as humans, have been living identified with mind, identified as mind. So all we know is mind. And what's being spoken about in this awakening is awakening beyond that limitation of mind. Like, it's a surface level of reality, the mind. It's not true. It's a storyteller, like writing itself, writing. But it's not waking up to the level of writing, the level of the known in the story. And it is apparently different from know yourself, very well spread in spiritual circles. Know yourself. I've only really heard that know yourself in terms of Egyptian philosophy. Know yourself, but it seems very similar in my interpretation of that, and not different. That's a pointing to know who you are, find out who you are, not as a character, so what you do and don't like, or your trauma, or your cultural knowing who you are, but knowing who you are beyond all of that, your gender, your sexuality. We think of ourselves as just those collections of things. obviously in therapy it's spoken about know yourself in terms of know your pattern and your conditioning, and that's very useful to understand yourself better, understand how any traumas you've been through, experiences you've had, how it affects you, your system. So what ideas you've taken on, what ideas you believe to be true about yourself, about the world, about others. It's really interesting to understand more about your conditioning and your way of being. That's very helpful on some emotional, psychological level. It's very helpful. But knowing who you are beyond all of that is what I feel that pointing is pointing to. And it doesn't mean you can't also know yourself on the human level, so know yourself and your conditioning. That's kind of part of it, really. Like I feel like in this experience, I'm a lot more clearer on my conditioning. I'm a lot more clearer on my patterns of seeking, the suffering that comes up, what it's about. I'm more clearer on those things, what the beliefs are, the core beliefs that cause suffering around being separate. All these ideas and stories we've been telling ourselves for so many years and believing and holding. So that's happened, as well as the waking up to who I am beyond that, but also understanding like the human stuff. If you just do the human psychology stuff on its own, there's no escape out of that. You're still bound in that being, that character, being that human, and that's suffering. That's not freedom. It's helpful, but it's still suffering, extreme suffering, being a person identified with that human. So to wake up is to know yourself beyond that. Know what you are beyond that, that you aren't someone, you aren't something. And this is your home. This is your home. Home isn't found in pleasure or avoiding pain or having a high experience or in your partner or your friends or your job or your kids or having, I don't know, a house or a car. Or these are all lovely things to have and experience as part of being human, but they won't fulfill you. You won't find home through any of them. And the seeking is about trying to find home through form, through things. Thank you, Sabrina. I like how inclusive your sharing is. What I mean is that you share about human aspect of this experience, trauma, and also beyond that through the impersonal. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, really inclusive. This message is really inclusive. Like it's nothing is excluded, it's all things. It's all seeming things. It's really beautiful. I've also been intrigued by that non-duality means not to, but it does not mean one. Do you agree? Yeah, it doesn't mean one. That's going to be it, I think. Yeah, okay. So thank you for joining the broadcast. Thank you for calling in and for sending questions. Yeah, lots of love. Bye.